All right. Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Let me know if whoever's on can hear me. If it's good, the audio is good. So let me know. We'll start pretty soon. Okay. Do we got everything good to go? Let me just check. Okay, cool. All right, good. Hey, shalom, shalom, akim. All praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, Elder Bishop of the Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and blessings to you, fellow brothers, pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Shabbat Chanak, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Racha, Kwadash. All right, in this lesson, you can say, and again, before I even go there, I am not a medical doctor, okay? I am not a healthcare professional, okay? I am not a imposter, all right? A physician of no value. And in no way is this information to replace your healthcare information. This is just educational information. Again, the title is Skin and Inflammation Issues, How I Would Start to Address It. So this is what I would do, right? Now, this is based off of a comment that a brother put on one of my videos. You know, he wanted to know about, let me actually pull up the comment. And then there's another comment, another brother put on a video I did a while back going into like a heart issue in Lord's will, brother. I was supposed to do that video a long time ago. But Lord's will, I'm going to just go ahead and do it. All right. But this one, I'm going to go ahead and do. Just bear with me while, I get this comment from the brother, because I'll speak about herbs from time to time. Okay. I'll speak about herbs from time to time. Let's see. Right. It says Shalom. Barakatah, Yabash Moshe. Can you or does it say Shalom elder and teacher Barakatah? Can I post a question about herbs? I hear you speak about them. I'm 58 and trying to clear up my skin and remove inflammation. Any sites I can go on as well, blessing family members. Okay, so I figure instead of just writing out a comment, with a couple of herbs, that you could take, and a couple of websites that you can go to, right? I figure this probably could this could be an edifying video to help brothers and sisters that are out there that do have similar issues like this, skin issues, and inflammation, which are really just blanket terms. So this video is going to be designed to generally cover these issues, because you can never quite know until you go deeper. You do a deeper dive of why the skin issue is there, right? Most people will just say, hey, well, just take this and take that, which sometimes that can help. But we're in the business of getting to the root cause, okay? You got to ask yourself first, why do I have a lot of inflammation? Why do I have skin problems? Only then you can put a comprehensive plan together to actually tackle it, because you're going to the root cause. Now, saying that, and I meditate upon this all morning about doing this video, and I even wrote down some things, just generally how I would deal with this problem as far as for me with the information I was given, just skin issues and inflammation. If that was the only information that I was given, what are some safe, effective things that have been done for traditionally over the different millennia that people use for these different issues? So again, this is not a video to replace any type of medical advice. All right, this is educational purposes, more so teaching you, bringing out information of what people did in the past and how they deal with these issues before modern medicine. Okay, mainly going into the herbs. And let me actually bring out a scripture of, okay, because we are prophets. All right, you know, we our main thing is to prophesy, okay, and we do these videos for edification. So let's go into the scriptures and see what the scriptures say about, you know, the herbs and health and stuff like that, right? All right, it says, let me just start at the top. All right, it's Sirach 38:1. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him, for the Lord has created him. For of the Most High cometh healing. First and foremost, let's get that. Let's get that, you know, on the table. Who actually heals? Okay, it's the Most High, Yahweh Shema Shai. That's first and foremost. Okay, because you can take as many herbs as you want. You can do all the correct things, but if your spirit is not right with the Heavenly Father, the Lord, he don't have to activate it. Okay, and he shall receive honor of the king. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men. Da, da, da. Verse 4. The Lord has created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Okay. Was not the water made sweet with wood, and the virtue thereof might be known? Meaning, you there was the particular woods that can actually clean water, that can filter out water and make it not necessarily sweet, but actually be able to actually drink, because it was bitter thereof, meaning it was poisonous. So there's a lot of herbs that can do a lot of great things, all right, for the body, especially when it comes to skin and reducing inflammation. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of pain there. But let me just kind of go through some things that I was just thinking about when I was just kind of meditating on this question, because again, I have limited information. So if I just had limited information, what is something generally that this individual or any individual can do, okay, to start to address, okay, skin issues and inflammation, which they're going to be tied together. Okay. The skin and inflammation is going to be tied together, and you have to understand that the skin is a manifestation of what's actually happening inside. Okay, so but let's just kind of go through a couple of things that clear up by doing these things. And Lord's will, my internet's been going in and out today, so I was almost apprehensive doing the video, but let me just make sure and check it, because it's been tripping. Okay, it's been tripping hard. Bear with me. I don't even know. I don't even see it. I don't even see the video. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, we just gonna go it, whatever catches it, whatever catches. So okay. This individual has, if I was this individual and I had skin issues, okay, these are some of the things that I would do. So let me just kind of go through what, you know, I typed up really quickly. Okay, it says when we are dealing with skin issues, we have to remember the skin is a reflection of what's going on inside the body. If the skin is breaking out, inflamed, or irritated, it is often signs that the inner system of elimination and digestion needs support. And that's the first thing that came to mind. Now, again, I don't know. It can mean eczema. It can mean psoriasis. It can mean hives. It can mean, I mean, it can mean acne. Different. Yeah, so I might have to do this. If it goes out again, I might have to do this another time. There was like some raining going on, and right now I got it connected to my phone, but I don't know how long I'll be able to do that. So if you guys can still hear me, just let me know. Again, if the feed acts up again, I'm just gonna do this at a different time, or I'll do it offline and upload it. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So let's go right back into it. Let's go right back into it. And this is dealing with clearing up skin issues. Okay. I'm not sure what type of skin issues it is, but this will generally help move you into that direction. I'm not going to give you a lot of things to do, but there's some easy things that you can do to start to get that process going. And of course, when you're dealing with any skin issue that's systemic, that's chronic, it does take time, and these herbs do take time to work. Just give me the heads up. All right, so when dealing with skin issues, we have to remember the skin is a reflection of what's going on inside the body. If the skin's breaking out, inflamed, or irritated, it is often a sign that the inner systems of elimination and digestion need support. So that's the first thing I'm gonna go to is what's going on with your digestion. Do you have gas? Do you have bloating? Do you have indigestion? Do you have signs of constipation? Do you have diarrhea? Do you have any type of discomfort? Are you not eliminating properly? Is there any type of discomfort? First, you have to strengthen the digestive system. Now, if there's not too much going on there, I would still use herbs to support digestion, and we'll get into that a little later. Okay, this is not going to be a long video. I'm just kind of just hit the point, and then we'll just move on. Okay. All right, common reasons of skin issues. I wrote out a couple of common skin reasons why there would be a problem with the skin, right? Weak or sluggish digestion, okay, because everything starts in the gut, okay? So if there's weak or sluggish digestion, again, food not properly being eliminated, all right, optimally, okay? Gas, you're getting any type of gas, you have a bloating, you feel tired after eating, sluggish, okay? Your stools are not formed. They're all over the place. Sometimes they might be loose. Sometimes they might be hard, or you might be dealing with constipation. You might be able to go to the bathroom, but everything is not bulked up. So those are all signs of digestive issues. Okay, weak or sluggish digestion. If you just feel, you're eating food and certain foods don't agree with you, a lot of times it's going to start there. So we have to start there. Okay. The next bullet point I have, congested elimination organs. Okay. Example, the liver, the kidney, the colon, and in this case, the skin. Okay. So you have elimination organs within your body. Again, like the liver, the kidney, the skin, the lymphatic, right? The colon. And if these things are congested, meaning if these were highways and cars flow through it, right? And there was a crash that blocked everything up. They stopped all traffic. So you have a traffic jam. So particular organs like your liver or your kidneys or the colon, right? So on and so forth, they can have traffic jams. They can be congested, which does not allow you to properly eliminate waste out of your body. The waste stays inside your body, and then you get erupt since it's trying to come out on the skin. The skin is an elimination organ as well. What does it manifest? It manifests in the skin. So also, there can be not only digestive problems, but also elimination problems with your elimination organs, which are kind of almost interconnected. Okay. They're almost interconnected. You can't really have one without the other. Okay. Excess acids in the body. And this is due to you not able to move waste properly out of the body. The different organs are congested. The liver is congested. The kidney is congested. The colon is congested, right? You have a lot of acid built up in the body, and you're eating, which is going to go into the next bullet point, is an unbalanced diet. In an unbalanced diet, and of course, the scriptures speak about we shall eat our food defiled amongst the Gentiles in Ezekiel, the 4th chapter. So a lot of these foods that we're eating is toxic. And this individual, right, is 57, right? The older you get, the more toxic you can become. Not saying you're toxic. I'm just saying the more toxic you can become, more roadblocks you can have, the more acid that you can hold on to. Okay. And then that manifests also in skin issues and also inflammation. Okay. Because the acid is going to be directly tied to the inflammation. Now, the body should be able to move the acids out of the body. But again, if digestion, you see how we're going through a chain. If digestion is compromised, we have an issue. And then if the organs, the elimination organs are compromised, we have an issue. Now it trickles down to you holding on to more acids. And if you're eating an unbalanced diet, which is conducive to acids as well. All right. So the 4th bullet point was unbalanced diet. And then the last but not least, which really should be the most simplest, is dehydration. And a lot of people I see are really super dehydrated. Super dehydrated. It's not just water. And it's not necessarily always just your electrolytes, your sodium, your calcium, potassium, magnesium, which those all play a big part in it, but as well as all your micronutrition. And the standard American diet, if you're eating a lot of breads and a lot of dairy products and a lot of meat and a lot of starches, right? Rices. If you're eating that, you are going to be highly inflamed. Okay. So before we leave there, right? Let me just finish this last sentence I have there. When these systems get backed up, waste that should leave through the liver, kidneys, or colon start coming out through the skin, leading to irritation, acne, rashes, or inflammation. So you can see how the skin issue, wherever the skin issue, it can be all over the body. It don't even matter where it's at. That's a manifestation of what's actually happening inside. And the inflammation is a product of particular systems breaking down in the body. Okay. And there being a lack of proper nutrition. Okay. So you have two sides. You have an excess of waste or excess of toxins in the body. And then you have a deficiency of nutrients. Both of these must be balanced. Okay. So, and we're going to go through kind of the plan of action as well. Right. And these are not everything that can go wrong. Again, I don't know the issue. Right. But this is some general information that anybody can take. Okay. And it can help. It can start moving you on that direction of getting results. And that's what matters. Okay. So, when I heard this question, the first thing that popped into my head was burdock root. Okay, burdock root. I'm not gonna go a big deep dive into burdock root. Maybe we'll look into some things. Okay, the first thing I would do, and the reason why I choose burdock root, and there's a couple other things we're gonna go through it, but the reason why I choose burdock root, because here in the United States, burdock root is generally easy to get anywhere you're at in the United States. Most of the time, it's not going to be at your normal grocery store. I'm talking about the fresh burdock root. It's not going to be at your normal grocery store. It's going to be at your international markets. Okay, so international or Asian markets. Burdock root. Okay, now what I have here is some burdock root tincture that I made. Let me see. That's the burdock root. If you Google that, if you Google burdock root, okay, you're gonna see what it looks like. And this is the fresh burdock root, and we'll talk about the dry as well. But this is fresh burdock root. I got this at my local international market. Now I'm back in Memphis. All right, so even Memphis got it. Okay, they have a couple, because everywhere you go in these major cities, there's international markets. Okay, and these the heathen, they eat their food for the most part, not all the time, but a lot of their cooking, they'll have lemongrass, they'll have burdock, they'll have bitter melons, they'll have all these different imported herbs that are also culinary and medicinal. They'll have at their grocery store. And burdock is one of, honestly, burdock is one of those herbs. This is a tincture, and we'll talk about that. Okay, whether you can make a tincture out of it, or you can do a decoction, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so that's burdock root tincture. Okay, and then we'll type in what burdock does for the skin. We'll read a little bit on burdock. Okay, just bear with me. All right, so that was the first herb that came to mind with dealing generally with any skin issue. It really doesn't matter what skin issue it is. Okay, burdock root will help. Okay, it doesn't matter what skin issue it is. Burdock root will help. Burdock is slightly bitter. Okay, so it will help with digestion. Burdock root is what they call in herbal medicine an alterative, which it cleanses the blood. So that's when you're dealing with any skin issue, and maybe the skin issue, it could be isolated in one place, okay, or it can be systemic all throughout the body, which shows me that it's in the blood. Okay, there's some type of impurities in the blood. Okay, the blood is not being filtered out properly. Okay, so burdock root helps nice and gently start to filter or cleanse the blood, and they will call it a couple hundred years ago, they'll call it a blood sweetener. Okay, it makes the blood, what we just read in that scripture so let me read it again, because it was before it was called an alterative, or even today a blood cleanser. The ancient physicians, just a couple hundred years ago actually, and maybe even a little bit longer, they will actually call it a blood sweetener. Okay, does it actually sweeten your blood? So let's read the scripture again. This is Sirach 38:5. Was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? Now, the water is not actually talking about it being sweet, but the opposite of bitter. If you go back into the story, okay, when we was coming out of Exodus, okay, I believe that's when we was coming out of Exodus. Stop me when I'm wrong. There was a tree thrown into the water to make the water being able to drink, because there's particular woods out there, barks, that actually filter out the water, that will cleanse the water. You have one called bitterwood, Jamaican bitterwood, okay, or quassia wood. They used to make something called it's a tonic water. Tonic water was traditionally made with quassia wood, all right, to cleanse the water. It made it sweet. It made it clean. So you have burdock root also, which is a root. Okay, it will make the blood, as they will call, sweet or clean. It will clean the impurities. And what it's doing is it's gently stirring up your lymphatic and your kidneys and your liver to start to properly filter out. Okay, because when you have skin issues, a lot of times you cannot filter. So the things that you eat, they become toxic to you, and you can't filter it out. So burdock traditionally was given. There's other herbs too, but this is what I'm saying. You can go pick this up at the store. You don't have to get online, which we'll talk about that in a little later, and buy these imported herbs, or these herbs that you have to wait a couple of days to actually get. There are remedies at the grocery store that you can start to deal with right now. For example, I'm in Memphis. I can actually go get burdock right now, about 10 minutes away. Okay, I know on all the little international stores out here. When I go into a city, I'm looking up the international stores, because they're going to have a lot of things that are going to be good for your health that you're not going to get at your traditional grocery store. Okay, so that's burdock root. Let's actually read a little bit of burdock root. 'Cause I don't have my books with me, but I just went on ChatGPT, and you can type this in. This is well-known knowledge. I'm just giving you a way to use it. How would you use this? Okay. So this is the burdock root. This is from physicians in the early 1800s to the 20th century. This is how they viewed burdock root. Okay. Primary actions: alterative. Okay. They use it to correct disorder states of the blood and chronic skin conditions: eczema, psoriasis, acne, boils. So anytime you would go, say, to a physician 200 years ago, 100 years ago, well, I would say about 150 years ago to 200 years ago, and you have a skin issue, one of the main herbs they're going to use is burdock, because it's just so good at clearing chronic skin issues. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm not telling you something that I haven't seen. I've seen this with my own eyes. Okay. It promotes kidney function and urinary elimination. Now, you can have your issue because of your kidney is backed up. Like we talked about, what are the main causes? What are some of the main causes of why you will have skin issue and excess inflammation? Well, congested elimination organs, and the kidney is the elimination organ. So burdock also, it promotes the kidneys to function properly and properly eliminate. Okay. Diaphoretic. It's also a diaphoretic. These are the different the different actions that this herb has. Okay. When you thinking about it in a Western herbalist mindset, all right, they'll classify a particular herb and they'll give it actions. So it's bitter. All right. It helps with the skin. It's alterative. It's a diaphoretic. So a diaphoretic will help open up the pores. Right. It's going to help you sweat. So another reason why you can have chronic skin issues or skin issues in general is because your skin is not properly able to breathe. So it's congested. That system of you perspiring and you sweating has been compromised for whatever reason. The reason that we went up earlier, it could be digestion. It could be a number of different things, right? Dehydration. It could be a unbalanced diet. It could be you're overly acidic. So these systems shut down, right? So it's a diaphoretic. So it opens up the pores. So now your skin can start to breathe and eliminate. So you can see how if your issue was kidney, and the reason why you have skin issues, burdock can gently promote and stimulate the kidney to start to eliminate. If it's trapped in the skin, which goes back to your lymphatic system, you can see how burdock will help open up the lymphatic system to help promote skin elimination. Okay. It's a nutritive tonic as well. Considered safe and rebuilding for thin, scleroferous, and debilitating patients. So not only does it cleanse the blood, it sweeten the blood, right? But also it has diuretic properties to help move waste product out of the kidneys properly. And then also it has diaphoretic properties to help it open up the skin, to help the skin to start to detox and remove waste. But it's also a nutritive tonic because, again, I said earlier, you have an overload of toxins and you have a deficiency of nutrients. Now, your issue also could have elements of deficiencies. And burdock in the tea form, it helps rebuild because it has a lot of nutrients in it to help rebuild the body. And as well, it's a mild laxative. Another property, another action of burdock is a mild laxative. Okay. So give me a second. So you can see how it's opening up many forms of elimination in which you will have a skin problem or you'll have a lot of inflammation, a lot of acid built up into your body. So it's going to open up the skin. It's going to open up the kidney. It's going to open up the colon. Okay. But also it will open up the liver gallbladder as well. Okay. It's going to open up your kidney. Your liver, gallbladder, is going to gently stimulate these things. And they're not really, there's no strong action, no strong purging action. We don't want a strong purging action. We want a nice, gentle opening up and elimination. Okay. So it opens up the skin to help to eliminate the skin. It opens up the kidneys to start to remove waste product. Okay. To filter out waste product better. It opens up the liver and the gallbladder gently to help remove waste out of the liver and the gallbladder. Okay. And then it stimulates, it's a mild laxative. So it's not you have constipation and you're drinking, burdock tea. Why am I not going? No, it's mild. It takes time. And because it's actually working on the whole system of why it's backed up. Okay. As well as it's nutritive. So it's going to give you a lot of nutrients when you drink it in its tea form. Okay. So that was the first herb that came to mind. All right. When a couple of other herbs as well that came to mind when the brother asked about, okay, the skin issue and the inflammation. What can I do? Now I could have give you 5, 6 other herbs, and we'll go into some other herbs that you can actually buy online. And now, am I saying that if you can't find burdock root, that's the end all be all? No, because there's many ways to shear a lamb. Okay, there's more than one way to shear a lamb. Okay, burdock is just one of our tools, and it's one of the herbs that I'm gonna think of that's practical, that's around us. You can go to your Asian grocery store, your international market, and you can look for burdock. Usually they'll call it gobo, and a lot of it is imported from Taiwan. Okay, you got to watch it for the Chinese stuff. But hey, look, I'm gonna say this: if that's all that you got, and you're in a pinch, and there is no other one, it's just from China, just pray over it. Okay, it still works. I'll just say it like that: it still works. All right, because we're coming into real heavy times where you're not going to have access to all these different herbs. You're not going to have access to, the hospital like that. Okay. You're not going to have access to healthcare like that. So you got to know these remedies around you. And I always preach that when I'm going, I'm around brothers. Hey, are you taking care of your health? Do you know about these remedies? Okay. Because you don't want to, well, the scriptures say knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy time. Okay. Our people are destroyed for our lack of knowledge. There's a great wealth of information out there. So one of the first things I would do, I would get on burdock. Okay. Now you can buy the burdock from online and it's going to be dry. Will the dry burdock root? Yes. So if that's the way you can't get burdock and you can get it online, or you can go to your local herb shop. Not every city has them. The major cities, they'll have herb shops, but guess what? They're going to charge you a lot more, double to triple to quadruple the price for that herb if you don't go online and get it at a bulk store. Okay. I would get it at a bulk store. All right. And then if I was going to make a tincture, for example, the burdock root, I can go and get burdock root from the grocery store. I can either make a tea and decoction, a tea and drink it, or I can make a tincture. And it has a longer shelf life. Okay, the tincture is strong. So you can carry that around. You can have a tincture bottle. You could put that in there and you can take that. Okay. So you can make a burdock tincture, burdock fresh tincture. You need about 50% alcohol. Okay. All right, cool. So I would get burdock. Before I would actually get burdock, there are 2 herbs, okay, also I would consider. The first herb would be celery, okay? One of my favorite herbs. In the juice form. So I would juice celery first thing in the morning, all right, on an empty stomach, 1 stalk. Don't sleep on the humble celery. I would do that. I'm not telling you to do that. Okay, this is If I had skin and inflammation issues, okay, how would I address it? I'm telling you how I would address it. But before even burdock, but I wanted to talk about burdock. I love burdock. Before I would do burdock, I would get celery juice. I'll drink 16 ounces of celery juice daily. Now, what I love about celery is it's going to mildly stimulate the kidneys to move out waste. It's going to mildly stimulate the liver and gallbladder to move out any waste and congestion. And it's also going to stimulate the colon to remove out waste. So a lot of these inflammation and skin issues are tied directly to you holding on to toxins. You're holding on to the toxin, and the toxin cannot release properly. It cannot eliminate properly. So one of the first things is to promote elimination. And you'll see a lot of benefit, or you'll see a lot of results by just using herbs that promote elimination. Now, another thing what I like about celery is not only is it going to promote elimination in the kidney, liver, gallbladder, and colon, it's also going to rebuild the digestive system because of the sodium content, the perfect sodium content. They call it cluster sodium salts. It has the building block. Remember, a deficiency of nutrients. It has the building block to stimulate hydrochloric acid. Now, why do you need hydrochloric acid? What is hydrochloric acid? HCl, hydrochloric acid. That's the acid that's in your stomach that breaks down the food. I believe it's a 2 pH, right? And as you get older, you lose stomach acid. The stomach acid, it wanes. So then when you eat food, you cannot properly break down the food like you used to break it down. Because your stomach acid is not strong. Now you lose that stomach acid, but then if you don't have a balanced diet, you cannot rebuild the stomach acid. So celery also helps rebuild the stomach acid. Okay, so it's going to mildly promote the kidneys to eliminate, the liver and gallbladder eliminate, the colon eliminate, and then it's going to also the colon eliminate, and then it's also going to rebuild the digestive system. But it gets better. Also, right, when we looked at what are some of the common reasons, one of those reasons was dehydration. And if you juice one of these, you're going to get about 16 ounces of juice, which is going to start to bring you more into a hydrated state. So I would do that. Celery juice. If I have this issue, this is me. I would be drinking. Oh, by the way, I still drink celery juice, by the way, to this day. I would drink 16 ounces of celery juice first thing in the morning, 6 days a week, 1 day break. That's what I would be doing that. Okay, at least 3 months straight diligently. Just that alone, you're gonna see benefits. If you didn't do anything else, just celery alone, because it's a digestive tonic. It's gonna tone all your digestive organs. Meaning it's going to gently bring them back into a more balanced state. Okay, so you'll notice when you drink celery, you might go to the bathroom more. That's a good thing because that's removing all that toxic waste that was backing back up into your system, possibly giving you a lot of the inflammation and a lot of those skin issues. So celery is really my number one medicine out of the earth I would deal with. Practically, because why do I say that? Why do I say you got to be practical? Because you can get celery everywhere in the United States. Okay, you can go to pretty much any grocery chain and you can get celery, and you can juice it, and you can start to reap the benefits of celery. Okay, now the other one is radish juice, but we won't talk too much about radish juice. I would rather, unless it's a very serious case, there's especially a lot of serious liver and gallbladder congestion and a lot of serious kidney congestion, I would drink at least 6 ounces of radish juice, 6 to 8 ounces of radish juice. You could go up to 16 ounces a day. So you start with 4 ounces for a week. Then the next week you go to 8 ounces. and then the next week after that, you go 16 ounces for a week, and then you drop down back to 8. The whole protocol is around 6 weeks, and then you drink radish juice, maybe a half cup, 4 ounces every other day. But that's another therapy. That's only for if you didn't have any other medicines. Radish juice is there for you. Powerful medicine. What am I? It's stronger than celery, but sometimes just because it's stronger doesn't mean that it's better. Okay, celery is my go-to. It's mild. The most what's going to happen is you're going to eliminate more. Okay, you're going to eliminate more, but a couple of days later you're going to be like, oh, this is feeling pretty good. But what's going to happen is you're going to fall off. Don't fall off. You keep it going. 3 months. So this brother's watching. You do whatever I'm saying here. If that's what you want, you do this 3 months, and then you come back to me, and then you say, all right, what's next? Okay. Anybody that follows this, you again, this is generally you can use any of these herbs because these are all mild, gentle herbs. Okay. Not saying you could give give it to children, but you can actually, children can, the herbs that I'm talking about, except for the radish juice, children can do these things as well. Like the celery juice might be a little bit too bitter, so I would add maybe some pineapple juice or some apple juice, and then they still have they still can get celery in. The burdock is very safe and mild for children as well. Okay, so we talked about burdock root. Okay, the fresh burdock root, but you can also use the dry burdock root. You can also use the powdered burdock root. I would take at least a half teaspoon of the burdock root powder, half teaspoon to a teaspoon of burdock root powder 3 times a day. That's the dose I would take. 6 days a week, 1 day off. If you're going to use burdock. If you're going to use a tincture, I would take 1 to 2 milliliters of a tincture 3 times a day, 6 days a week, 1 day rest. Okay. If I was going to do a decoction where you take the burdock root, okay, and you slice it up and you put it in a pot, you put a top on it and you boil it. Okay. The dose is, I'm going to give you the dose. This is for educational purposes only, for the burdock, the fresh burdock root decoction. A decoction is when you boil something you boil something. An infusion is when you let something steep. So this will be a decoction. You'll take the root, that fresh root that you got. Okay, this is for the fresh tea. You'll take that fresh root, 1 ounce. You'll weigh out 1 ounce, 1 ounce of the fresh root. You'll chop it up into little pieces like this, like those little pieces, little coins. You put it in a pot. You put it in a pot with 32 ounces of water. Okay, you put it in a pot with 32 ounces of water, and you'll boil that. Don't hard boil. You'll simmer that for at least 30 minutes. I would do 45, but at least 30 minutes. Okay, because with roots and barks, you wanna boil them to get the medicinal properties out into the water, right? So you boil that 1 ounce. You got to measure it. 1 ounce. A handful. If you don't have a measuring thing, just a handful, and then throw it in there. No worries, right? So measure out 1 ounce. Put in a pot. Put 32 ounces of water. Put a top on it. Put it on like medium, and let that boil for 30 to 45 minutes. Once it's done, turn it off. Just let it sit for a second, right? Then you can strain that off, and you want to strain it off back into a jar, a mason jar. Do I have a mason jar around me? I don't have a big one. You strain it back into a mason jar, and then say you put 32 ounces of water, so of course there's going to be some water that's going to dissipate. So just add that water back to where you can get back to 32 ounces. Now, and then label it with the day. That's only good for about 3 days. So if you are going to go the infusion route, okay, that means you're going to make the infusion like every 3 days. Okay, and you're going to have to store the burdock root, the fresh burdock root. You probably going to have to chop it up and put it in the freezer so it doesn't go bad, because it's a fresh herb. So whatever you don't use, I would chop up and put it, maybe separate it into ounces, and put it in the freezer to freeze it. Okay. And then every 3 days, you could take that out and then make a new batch. Okay. So you don't waste your money. You don't want to waste your money. Now, you can, like I said, that's the decoction of the fresh root. Now, to make the decoction of the dry root, say you bought some dry burdock root from a herb store or wherever, you would do a 1/2 ounce. Okay. You will weigh out a 1/2 ounce of the dry burdock root. You do the same thing on the stovetop with 32 ounces of water. You'll boil it for around the same time, 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. And you do the same process. Okay. So the fresh root is 1 ounce. All right. The dry root is a 1/2 ounce. That's what you'll do. And you'll boil that. You can go on YouTube and people will show you what they're doing. How to make a tea, how to make a decoction. So the information is out there, but I'm just letting you know. Okay. If you want to get better, you got to put in the time, you got to put in the effort. So example, the celery juice. Most people are not going to do it, and that's okay. But those that are, they're going to experience the benefit. But what is the inconvenience? What is the inconvenience there? Well, you got to have a juicer first and foremost. Okay. It takes time to juice. And then you got to go to the store to actually get the celery. And then you got to be on top of it. So if you are going to go the juice route, I would juice for about 2 days at a time. Okay. I would juice for 2 days at a time. So you don't have to juice every single day, but you're going to have the juice. That's just what it is. Okay. This would be the first thing I would do. I wouldn't turn it down. If I'm dealing with any inflammation, I'm dealing with any skin problem, I'm turning here. If I'm dealing with any digestive problem, because the skin issue we read earlier, it's a manifestation of what's actually going on inside. Okay, that's why if you put topical things, it helps just but a little, because you're not dealing with the internal issue. Okay, so we dealt with burdock root. You can get that at your international market anywhere. If you can't get in your international market, you can go online and you get a pound of it for under $20. I want to say it's less. Okay, less than $20, and that can last you for a while, and you can make a tincture out of that. If you don't want to make the tea, you can make a tincture. I made a tincture. Okay, I made it out of the fresh root. But if I have the dry root, I would do the same concept, and I would make a tincture. But you just got to let it sit. It's going to take a while. It's going to at least take 4 weeks. Let it sit at least 4 to 6 weeks. Shake it up. Okay, shake it up daily. So if you say I'm gonna start out. The brother said get celery juice. I'm gonna go get celery juice. I got a juicer. All right, I found burdock root. It's my third store, but I found it. And I want to make a tincture, right? But in the meantime, you're gonna have to do the decoction. You're gonna have to make that tea for at least a month while that tincture sits. Or you can go buy tincture, but that's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be expensive. You could do that if you had the money to do that, but I wouldn't do that. I would just make my own tincture. I would do the decoction. I'll make that tea in the meantime while my tincture is sitting. And then I can take my tincture. Okay. All right. And then we have celery juice. You got to go to the grocery store. You got to pick up celery. In this season, I think celery might be a little bit expensive. So if you can't get a celery, then we're going to go to the next option. And regardless, you should be doing is lemon water. Okay. You're going to juice the juice of 1 to 2 lemons. The juice of 1 to 2 lemons and 32 ounces of water daily. Okay. Lemons are powerful. They're going to start to remove acids out of the body. They stimulate the dissolved stones in the kidneys. They'll stimulate the liver. They're going to just bring more hydration to the system. Again, one of the causes of skin and inflammation issues is there is going to be a level of dehydration. We're tackling that with the celery juice first thing in the morning. And then right after that, if you don't have celery juice, right? Say you didn't have celery juice. Regardless if you did or you didn't, you're going to drink 32 ounces of lemon water. 1 to 2 lemons squeezed. Where's my lemon water at? I have lemon water. It's over there. But I still drink lemon water to this day. Okay? And that's going to help deal with the inflammation, which is acids. Your body has trapped acids. Okay? So the lemon water is going to start to help flush out those acids. What do we want to do? We want to open up the channels of elimination. If you do not open up the channels of elimination, nothing's going to work. So we have celery to help open up the channels of elimination, the kidney, the liver, the colon, the skin. Burdock, the same thing. The kidney, the liver, the colon, the skin, the gallbladder, the lymphatic system. It's going to actually cleanse the blood. Okay? And then we have the same thing with the lemon water. So this is how it's looking so far. This is how it's looking. When you wake up in the morning, first thing you're going to do, you're going to drink 32 ounces, 16 ounces of celery juice. That's one stop. If you can't do 16, do 8. So let's say 8 to 16 ounces of celery juice first thing in the morning. Wait 15 minutes. And then you're going to work your way through 16 to 32 ounces of lemon water. Maybe you don't drink it all in one setting. So go down to 16 first until you build up. If you can't drink 60 ounces of celery juice, drink 8 ounces. Okay, if you can't drink 32 ounces of lemon water, drink 16 ounces. So regardless, you're going to drink celery juice and lemon water first thing in the morning. That's going to start to open up all your channels of elimination. Okay, and start to work on the inflammation. Okay, it's the powerful medicines out of the earth. We read the scripture earlier. He that is wise would not abhor him. The Most High has made medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise would not abhor him. Lemon, especially the juice of the lemon, is very highly medicinal. The celery stalk in the form of a juice is highly medicinal. Okay, so look, what are we looking like? We're looking first thing in the morning, celery juice, and then lemon water. If you don't have celery juice, lemon water. Okay, then if you have access to burdock, okay, you made a burdock, you're going to make a burdock tea. Why are you making burdock tea? I would advise to make a tincture if that's what you're going to do. So you're going to need alcohol, okay, and you need the fresh burdock or the dry burdock, and you're going to make that tincture. You're going to let that thing sit. It's going to be in 4 weeks. Do it 4 weeks. Then you can start taking it. But in the meantime, you're going to find an international market, okay? If there is no international market around you, you're going to go online. And we'll talk about some online resources that you can go to. I'll show you some of the things that, some of the places where I order the herbs. Okay. So we have celery juice, we have lemon water. Okay. And then we have burdock tea / tincture. If you want to buy the tincture from a store and start doing that, that's cool. You're going to spend a lot of money doing that. I would make my own tincture. Okay. So you're going to find an international market and you're going to find where the hell burdock is. It's also known by gobo. Okay, gobo, G-O-B-O. You're probably going to find every city that I went to. I was in Dallas. I was in Memphis. I was in Nashville. I was in where was I just at? Atlanta. When I was in the Bay. It don't matter where you're at. More than likely, they're going to have it. Now, if you don't have that, go online. If you can't go online, no worries. There's other things you can do. Now, all right. The other herb, when the brother asked the question, right? My mind went, all right, nettle leaf. Okay. See this? Nettle leaf. Every remedy I'm giving you is a safe remedy, safe and safe. It's safe and effective, right? These are safe. These are nettle. This is nettle leaf. I bought this bulk. We've all heard of nettle leaf. Okay. Now, let's talk about nettle leaf. I love nettle leaf. And nettle leaf traditionally was used for skin problems. Why? Because it helps stimulate the elimination of toxins. You see where we're going? A lot of that inflammation, a lot of those skin issues is because the body is not properly able to eliminate toxins. Again, the body is not properly able to eliminate toxins. Congestion is it gets stuck. Your organs get stuck. Your liver could be working, your kidney could be working, your colon could be working, but it's degenerated. Okay, it's like a car that hasn't got a checkup. Okay, it's things are the oil, the fluids are all backed up. You got gunk everywhere. It's dust and everything. So things slow down if you don't do a proper cleansing. Okay, if you don't do a proper cleansing. So these are the herbs that we talked about: lemon, okay, celery, even radish, and burdock, and even now nettle. These are herbs of elimination. Okay. But again, you can't just eliminate. All the herbs also that I gave you, all right, they're also nutritious. For like example, the celery. The celery is going to give you something back. It's going to give you those natural minerals to start rebuilding your digestive system. And everything starts in the gut. That's the first line of defense. If your acid is low in the gut, you're going to have a problem. You got a problem. We got a problem, Captain. Okay, burdock root is also nutritious as well. It has a lot of inulin in it, which helps actually rebuild the gut bacteria. It's food for the gut bacteria. Okay, if you take it in the tea form. Okay, if you take it in the tea form. Okay, so it has a lot of minerals to help rebuild the body as well. And then nettle, out of all of them, nettle leaf. Now you will have to go online to get this. I don't, or your local herb store. Nettle. Okay, nettle is a highly nutritional herb, maybe one of the most highly nutritional herbs that we know of in the herbal medical system that's out there, amongst moringa and oat straw and sea moss and dandelion leaf and raspberry leaf and red clover, right? Milky oat tops, right? And nettle also is used. Stinging nettle is used also as a food. Okay, nettle was also used as a food. So in the wild, you can actually eat it, but it'll sting you. But there's ways to actually process that. Now, again, the reason why I like nettles is because it's highly nutritious. Highly nutritious. Okay, better than any so-called vitamin. You taking a vitamin and mineral. You take all the vitamin and minerals you want. I'm gonna take nettle. Okay, it's in its perfect form. So it's highly nutritious, but it's also going to stimulate the kidney in particular. The leaf is going to be more stimulating to the kidney. Okay, it's going to stimulate the kidney to help remove waste products. And it's also going to cleanse. Remember, the blood cleansing is going to cleanse the blood. Okay, because when you're dealing with skin issues, first thing that needs to come up, blood. So the blood is bad. So we need to make the blood sweet. This is also a blood sweetener. Okay, so it was used for psoriasis, for acne, for boils, for eczema, any type of skin issue, hives, any type of skin issue. It's going to gently stimulate. Okay, it's going to gently stimulate the process of elimination, and is highly nutritious. Okay, so the dose for here is, I would do 3 tables. You got to be. Listen up. For nettle. Okay, you can do the tincture. The tincture is great. The tincture is amazing. But that's more of a stimulating diuretic. So nettle is going to make you pee more. Burdock root is going to make you pee more. Okay, so we don't want to take in super high doses. And if there's signs of kidney issues or signs of dehydration, then we want to ease on the side of a little bit. Okay. And again, the brother asked me the question. I don't know the full story. Okay. I don't know the full story. So I'm just giving a general answer with, in my head, some really good safe herbs that you really can't go wrong with. Okay. And I wouldn't do the nettle tincture. I wouldn't do that. I would do the nettle tea. You're going to do an infusion. The reason why is because the alcohol tincture is not going to give you the minerals. The minerals you're only going to be able to get the mineral in a non-alcoholic extract. A glycerin extract, but the tea is going to be your best way. Okay, even a vinegar extract. You do a vinegar tincture. But I would do the tea. So it's the dose. This is what I would do, right? Again, I would take 3 tablespoons of nettle. 3 tablespoons. Put that into a jar. Okay, put it into a jar like. See this? There's some tincture in here, but a jar like this, a mason jar, right? 3 tablespoons. You're gonna pour boiling hot water on it. Remember, we're doing an infusion. Okay, you're gonna pour boiling hot water. You're gonna pour 32 ounces of boiling hot water. So you need a jar, like a liter jar, right, to be able to pour 32 ounces, about 32 ounces. So you take 3 tablespoons of this dry nettle, pour boiling hot water on. You put a top on it. Now, important, this has to steep for at least 4 hours. So I would do this overnight, 4 to 8 hours minimum. The reason why is because if you steep it 20 minutes, you know, you make a tea, steep it 20 minutes, you're not going to pull out the deep problem. We're making a medicinal strength tea. Now, if you didn't have burdock, you would do nettles. If you didn't have nettles, you would do burdock. If you didn't have none of that, you just continue with the lemon water and the celery juice, right? We're building a program. We're building a protocol to help start dealing with the inflammation, okay, and the skin issues. But highly, I would do this. Me personally, okay. I take nettle. Now you can take. I don't have all my herbs with me, but I put some in a bag before I left. But I even have nettle powder. See that? Now, me personally, I like powdered herbs. Not a lot of people like powdered herbs. I like powdered herbs. This is nettle powder. It's the same thing as this, okay, but it's powdered. And what I do is I'll make a quick tea. I'll boil some water on an electric kettle. I'll put that in a mug, okay. I'll put that in a mug and I pour the hot water on it. I let it steep for a couple of, a minute or so. I'll add like a little bit of honey and I'll drink it. And I'll drink the herb as well. And that's quicker for me. Now I do the infusions at night too. I do that too. But I do the nettle. Now the nettle it's a diuretic, so it's going to help with kidney issues. If you hold on to fluid, it's a mild kidney stimulant, right? It's a mild kidney stimulant. So if you're on, again, this is educational stuff, so I'm not telling you to get off your medication or do any of that. And of course, you have to consult with your healthcare practitioner. You might be your own healthcare practitioner. I don't know, right? But you got to also think about what can go wrong. So again, these are really mild remedies and not too much can go wrong. But I would be careful when somebody that is too dehydrated. Somebody that's already overly dehydrated. Now, nettles is going to help because it's going to replenish a lot of your minerals back, but it's also stimulating to the kidneys. Burdock is also stimulating to the kidneys. Celery juice is also stimulating to the kidneys. Okay, these things stimulate. So you have to also, on this, when you're dealing with skin issues, you got to drink a lot of water. Okay, I want to emphasize that. You got to drink a lot of water. Double and triple the amount of water intake you're doing slowly. Don't just do it all at once. Okay. So nettle leaf. If you have the leaf, you have to do a long infusion, minimum 4 hours. This is so that you can get all the iron. There's a lot of iron in here. There's a lot of potassium, magnesium. Okay, there's a lot of minerals in nettle leaf. It's very nutritious, so it's going to rebuild tissues. Okay, so if there's an issue where there's in any nutrient, any issue that lacks nutrients, I love nettles. Nettles is safe for children. Burdock, so everything I'm giving is all safe for children. I'm not giving you no crazy, or we'll talk about the crazier herbs. Maybe we'll get to that. But we don't want to go crazy. We'll just go one crazy, not too crazy. Or you could do the nettle powder. Okay, so if you buy some bulk nettle powder, it's not going to cost that much. I will buy bulk. Okay, and I'm going to give you a couple of websites that you can go to. All right. And the dose here is I will start with a half teaspoon in like 6 to 8 ounces of water, just mixed in, or you could put it in your smoothie. But I like the hot water because it helps just release all the properties. You do that three times a day, right? 3 times a day, at least 2 to 3 times. You're gonna do that, okay? And you're gonna be drinking on that. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so we're done with that. Do I have anything? What do I have here? Okay. Okay. Now I have here support digestion. Again, this wasn't. I'm not gonna give you a whole bunch of herbs, a whole bunch of things to do, but just building a little protocol, health protocol, in which you can follow daily, even if you don't have skin issues, but you have inflammation issues, or maybe you don't have, maybe you just have digestive issues. It's all going to work. Now we're going to hone in on a little bit more digestion here, because a lot of time when there is a skin issue, there's probably going to be some weak digestion somewhere. So just to ease on the side of caution, I will add digestive herbs as well. And again, there's so many herbs, and I love talking about herbs. I mean, I'm an hour in. I was going to do 20, 30 minutes, but I love talking about herbs. I'll go all day long. So I'm going to cut this down. I'm cutting it down. And I kind of over explain things, but just making sure that you get it. Okay. But the most important thing is you do it. Don't come back on the comment board and say it don't work. Don't come. I've never seen it not work. The only reason it didn't work, it could be 2 reasons. Because of course, there's no proper inspection, assessment, okay, of the issue. But no matter what if you were to do this, you will get a boost in health. That's a guarantee. If you are consistent, and again, you're going to have to do this for at least 3 months. Give it 3 months before you say it doesn't work. Okay, you're going to get benefits way before that. But what happens is, and I know I'm a Jake. Jake start doing something, it don't come fast enough, or they start to feel, oh, I feel better, and then you stop, and then everything comes back, and then you now you all mess like, now you have the remedy. You got to keep going. You got to keep going with these remedies. And a lot of times when we're dealing with issues, we're dealing with chronic issues, which do not take. It's not an overnight process. It takes time. So 3 months on this protocol. Okay. Staying diligent on the dosing. I gave you the dosing 3 times a day. Okay. 3 times a day. But you can adjust it, If you only could do 2 times a day, or hey, do it like that. Or you have to double up 1 time. You work that out. Okay. You work that out. All right. I gave you options of making a tincture. Okay. Making a tea. The way to make the tea. If you want to do the powder, I like the powder. Simple, fast, and easy. I just drink the whole thing. Maybe sweeten if you want to, and you're good to go. That works as well. Okay. Now, I want to focus a little bit more on digestion. Okay. So I have here just a couple of digestive herbs. All right. Supporting digestion. When the digestion is weak, toxins can't be broken down and eliminated properly. Let me read that again. When the digestion is weak, toxins can't be broken down and eliminated properly. Okay. Here are some herbs to strengthen and stimulate digestion. Now, I have 3 herbs here, really 2, but I really want to put a lot more. I really want to, but I'm not. Okay. This is some basic stuff. Okay. And one of these herbs you probably have to go online to get. The other 2 herbs you don't. Okay. All right. The first one I like is dandelion root. I like dandelion root because it's a mild bitter, and it does everything just like burdock root. And traditionally, burdock and dandelion would be put together in a particular formula for skin issues. Okay, so dandelion is here. More so too, it's going to help eliminate toxins. It's a blood cleanser, a blood sweetener. It's going to stimulate the kidney. It's going to be mildly diuretic. Okay, so it's going to help move out fluid and also toxic waste out of the body, right? But also it has a real heavy affinity for the gallbladder and the liver in particular. So it's going to really stimulate and open up that liver, open up congestion within the liver. But it's also bitter. It's more bitter than burdock. Burdock has more of a sweeter taste, has more of a flavor profile. Dandelion can be really bitter for people, okay? Which that bitterness is going to help rebuild the digestive system. So again, I don't have a lot of information why the skin issue was there. Okay, I'm back. Again, like I said, the internet is real bad. Give me one moment. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. Bear with me. Hopefully all is good. Again, my internet be tripping. It would happen today, right? Let me just make sure everything is on a charge. Okay. So where was I? Okay, we're talking about dandelion root. Now, dandelion root you would have to get online. I would make a tincture out of it. Okay. I will make my own tincture, or you can buy the tincture. But again, if you do that, it's going to be more expensive. If you have the money to do that, then go ahead and do that. But you're gonna have to take the water too for confirming the audio. You're gonna have to take this for a while, because when you're dealing with skin issues, inflammation, it's a systemic. This is not acute inflammation where say you bangs your knee and your knee gets inflamed. Then you put some ice on it. A rub on it, and it goes away in a couple of days. No, we're talking about you've been inflamed for a really long time. Okay, so you're gonna have to continue these remedies minimum 3 months before you start to adjust anything else. Minimum 3 months that you have to be on point. Remember, on point. Gotta be on point if you want to get better. All right. So we're talking about dandelion root, which again, we got to start with the digestion. So I don't know how good or bad the digestion is, but I would take a nice little digestive bitter. Dandelion root. You could do the tincture, or you can do the tea. I'm gonna give you the tea dose. Okay, the dry root tea dose. You're not gonna be able to get fresh dandelion root. Usually, it's always gonna be in a dry form, or you get the fresh the fresh unless you have dandelion in your yard. This is a herb that's around everybody. Unless you have dandelion in your yard, and you can do it like that, but that's a different video. All right. Most of the time you're going to go online and you're going to buy, okay, dandelion root, or 4 ounces. I would buy a pound. Okay. I'll buy a pound, and I will make a tincture out of that. Okay. And in the meantime, I will make a tea if you're going to do that. So you don't have to do all these remedies, but you got to at least do one of them. Okay. You got to do the celery. You got to do the celery and the lemon water. You got to at least minimum, you got to do that at least. Okay. But if you can't do the burdock and the nettle, you got to at least do the dandelion. If you can't do the dandelion and the nettle, you got to at least do the burdock. You got to at least do one of them. You got to at least start to cleanse the blood. Now, there are other ways to do it too, but I'm just giving you some nice, simple, safe, effective herbs that have traditionally been used for these issues. Okay. That are nice and mild and work, and I've seen them work. Again, and I've seen them work. Okay, so it's not I'm just reading to you. Oh yeah, this does that, this does that, that does this. Yeah, well, that's cool. That's but I've actually seen it work. Okay, I've seen the skin get better. Okay, from skin issues that the doctors don't know what the fuck is going on. We don't know what to do. I've seen simple herbs. I've seen burdock. I've seen celery. I've seen radish juice. I've seen garlic, and we'll talk about garlic too. Start to cleanse the blood. Okay. But you have to be consistent. All right. So dandelion root. Again, you have to buy the dry root online. I would do that. Okay. And either you're going to make a tea. You can also make a syrup out of it for a longer storage life. Or you can make a tincture. I would make a tincture. I'll have some tincture set aside. Okay. And I'll be doing the tea in the meantime until the tincture is ready. Or if you just like the tea, you like the tea. Now, if it's going to be bitter. Now, dandelion root is not really bitter to me. That's not like a bitter, super bitter herb to me. But it can be super bitter to other people. So if it's super bitter, then you have to go to tincture route. And again, I will make my tincture. Okay. So that's dandelion root. It's going to do all the things that burdock root is going to do. Okay. But it's going to be a little bit more aggressive in the liver. And it's going to be more bitter for digestion. It's going to stimulate more. So when taking burdock root and dandelion root, you will notice more, you'll be peeing more, and you'll be going to the bathroom number 2 more. But that should normalize out. Okay, your stools can get loose for a little bit, but that should normalize out. Continue to keep going, and then only adjust, cut down the dosage if it's too much. It might be too stimulating. You don't throw out the whole herb. Just drop your dose in half. So if you taking this and start with one herb. So we had dandelion, burdock, and nettle. Start with one herb first. Don't do them all at one time. Start with one herb first, and you do that for a couple of weeks. And then you add another herb. So you understand what herbs is doing what to you. Okay. If you don't have these herbs right now, I will start with celery juice. I will go get celery juice, and I will start doing that daily. Even if that's all you can do, celery juice and lemon water. I will do that daily. That's going to get you on that path. It's going to get you on that path. Okay. Same thing with dandelion root. Okay. So I gave you, if you do the powder, half teaspoon to a teaspoon 3 times daily. Okay. So any of these herbs, you can get a fresh, dry, tinctured, or powdered, or you can make a tea. Okay. I pretty much gave you the dose for it. All right. Or you can just go online and you can look at a dose, and then you can't lose. Okay. You really can't lose. Okay. They're probably going to give you around the same amount. So just make enough tea for like 2-3 days. Okay. That'll be a hack I'll tell you. Make enough tea. So if you say you had dandelion root, you bought some dandelion root. Okay. And it's the actual root you got to boil. So you have to boil that root just like you did the burdock root. 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. You could even do it longer. Okay. But you make enough tea for 2 days. Okay. So you don't have to make it every day. If you do the powder is easy. You just pour hot water on it and you just drink it. It's gritty, but it's all good. Okay. Ginger root, another herb that I love that's going to help stimulate circulation. Okay. Elimination and assimilation. You're going to be able to absorb the food easier. The food is going to be able to move out of the system easier, and it's going to give more circulation to all those elimination organs. Okay, we're in the gut. Ginger, one of my favorite herbs. Now, who doesn't take ginger? And I'm talking about the fresh root. So if you get the fresh root, say you go get the fresh root, right, at your local grocery store, where you can pick up the celery too. So say you want to drink the ginger too. Okay. You get the fresh ginger. You get 2 ounces of the fresh ginger. You chop it up. Boom, 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 boom. Put that into a pot. 32 ounces of water. See where we're going? The same thing. You're going to boil that 30, 45 minutes with a top on. Don't let the top off. A lot of the medicinal properties is in the essential oil within the ginger. Okay. That's going to settle the stomach. It's going to move. It's going to be able to break down the food easier. It's going to stimulate the body to break down food easier and move waste products out of the body faster. Now, too much ginger will have you will evacuate too fast. So if that's happened, you cut down on the ginger. So either you can make a ginger tea, you can make a fresh ginger tincture. Okay. Or the ginger powder is, you can do that if you had to, but ginger powder is going to be a little bit more weaker. Okay, because it's going to lose a lot of its property, ginger powder. Or you can buy the bulk dry ginger. I like dry ginger. The bulk dry ginger, you can do it. You can do it like that. Okay, a tincture, even if you had the powder. All right. Or say you had dandelion, burdock, and ginger. You can put it all in one pot. Okay, so if you were to do that, say you had fresh or dry burdock, fresh dry dandelion, and dry or fresh ginger. You'll just put all three of those, all right, in equal proportion in that pot, and you boil that, and then you can drink that. And that's going to tackle the issue from multiple. It's like a shotgun effect, because the ginger is going to do this, and it's going to help bring more circulation to the dandelion root and the burdock root. The burdock root cleanses the blood, but the dandelion root also cleanses the blood, but they do it kind of in similar different ways. So that's just a formula. So you can do it like that as well. Okay. Or with the ginger, you can make a ginger shot. You can juice the ginger. I do that. A ginger shot, you could add lemon, add a little bit of cayenne pepper, and you take that. That's going to start you. You could take one of those a day. Okay. We're not going to do this one. Okay, now we're going to go into the other herbs. If you wanted to work with some other herbs, I'm going to give you some blood cleansing herbs that I love, that I've used, okay, that I've seen work, and that are traditionally used for these issues. Now, we're mainly focusing on, all right, eliminating toxins out of the body. We haven't really, which all these herbs are, most of the herbs are like anti-inflammatory too. But the inflammation, and I have some herbs for inflammation too. The inflammation is mainly due to the body not properly able to eliminate toxins, as well as what does your nutrition look like? Are you eating inflammatory foods? Are you not balanced? Because you can eat inflammatory foods. There's nothing wrong with eating an inflammatory food, but is the balance? Is the diet balanced with anti-inflammatory foods? And what I see is, with most people diet, they'll have all these mucus acid forming inflammatory foods: the meat, the dairy, the eggs, the rice, the flour, the oatmeal, the potato, right? And all those things are great. Absolutely. But then there's no leafy greens, there's no cruciferous vegetables, there's no whole grains. There's nothing to balance that out. Now, again, a lot of us lose the ability to break those foods down. So that's why these herbs too help to break down the food and build up the digestion. So now the food that you eat does not become toxic to you. Okay? If that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. If not, somebody tell me, hey, something's not making sense. Can you re-explain that? Okay, so we're wrapping things up. Okay. Now, here are some other herbs for skin issues that I like. Maybe you can't get a hold of dandelion. Maybe you can't get a hold of burdock. Maybe you can't get a hold of nettle. Here's some other herbs if you can get a hold of them. And I can give you 10 more, but I don't want to make this too much information. It's a lot longer than I expected, but hey, it is what it is. The way that I just like to explain things a little bit more. Okay. Most people say, okay, just do that. Just do that. And it's like, you got to explain a little bit more, because it doesn't really work like that. Okay. And let them know what they're going to go through and how diligent they need to be in order to receive the benefit. Okay. There has to be a change. There has to be a change in lifestyle. Okay. You have to have the mindset to eat cleaner. You have to break out of the lazy mindset. I don't want to juice. I don't want to go to the grocery store and get these lemons and get this celery juice and get this burdock root. I don't want to find a burdock root. And it just taking tinctures you're only going to have, you're only going to go so far. Because say you had access to getting all these tinctures, right? And you will get some benefit. You will get some benefit. You will. You will notice some things. Absolutely. And if it's mild, it might help you out a lot more than a bit. But there are several other things that one must do, as well as to lifestyle change, right? To actually deal with the issue. So it's multi-pronged. Okay. I will add walking in there. You got to start to walk at least you got to be doing some type of exercise. Okay. But we're going to make this simple. Okay. So these are some other herbs traditionally used to heal the skin. These herbs work to purify the blood, support detoxification, and calm skin irritation. Okay. Just like we read the scripture about how the wood made the water sweet. And again, a lot of these herbs, they were classified as blood sweeteners. Okay. Making the blood less toxic. Okay. Because you have different herbs. Okay. You have different herbs to cleanse water, that make it sweet, meaning to make it be able to drink. Okay. So the same thing, it's a wood, it's a bark, it'd be a wood, stem, bark, root. We ingest those things. And our water in our body, the blood is mainly what? Made up of water. The water in our body, we can purify the waters in our body, the blood. Okay, so there's a lot of people that's walking around with toxic blood. Okay, so you must cleanse the blood. So I'm giving you blood cleansers: burdock root, dandelion root, nettle leaf, mild one, celery. It's not too, but in conjunction, I would use celery juice as well. Okay. And here's some other ones I'll give. Echinacea. Echinacea. Okay. Echinacea is very cleansing to the skin, especially systemic. It can be all over the place, which means it's in the blood. It's very opening of the lymphatic system, which cleanses the blood. Think of your lymphatic system as your drainage system. Think of the lymphatic system as your sewer system. Okay. And the sewer system removes waste products. Okay. The fluid or waste products that are in the body. All right. And if that gets backed up, what happens? You become very toxic. So echinacea, as well as dandelion, as well as burdock root, as well as nettle, they all help stimulate the lymphatic system to be cleansed out. So echinacea is very good for skin issues. Okay. Yellow dock is very good for skin issues. So if you get your hands on some yellow dock, that's really good to know how to use. And again, it's going to kind of be in the same category. All these herbs are really in like kind of like the same category, but they shine in like different areas. So burdock shines in this area. Dandelion does what burdock does too, but dandelion kind of shines a little bit over here, right? And nettle does a lot too, but nettle kind of shines a little. Like nettle, like it cleanses the blood and all that, but it's like super nutritious as well. So it's like it builds you up, right? Burdock root is very cleansing. You know, it has some nutrients to it, but it's not going to be as nutrient dense as nettle leaf. Burdock root is going to be more stimulating to the liver than nettles. So you see how using multiple different remedies, you can kind of target all these different root causes or what the root cause could be. Okay, it could be more so in the liver, it could be more so in the kidney, it can be more so in the colon, it can be more so in the lymphatic system. All these herbs are going to hit those systems. Okay. And the brother, hey, shalom, garlic. I'm gonna get the garlic. I haven't got the garlic yet, brother. I haven't got the garlic, but we getting the garlic. Okay, because garlic is one of those powerful herbs as well. Okay. So yellow dock, if you get your hand on yellow dock, the same process for burdock root and dandelion root you would do for yellow dock root. So it's another herb that you can get. Okay. Sarsaparilla. You can either get the Mexico root, the one from Mexico, or you can get the one, I believe it's from India. I believe the one from India is more expensive. Okay. Very good. Great blood cleanser. Okay. Barberry. Okay. Barberry, another herb. Great blood cleanser. All these, if you were to just use any of these herbs, if you were able to get access to any of these herbs, just even one, you're consistent with the dosing, whether you're making a tea or you're taking a tincture or you're doing the powder, you will get a level of you will have a level of success. Okay. Uh, in conjunction with doing a juicing, whether it's a celery juice or even I would do a cucumber juice, but a cucumber juice is going to be more hydrating than eliminating. Okay. Um, okay, that's it. Now for anti-inflammatory herbs. If you get your hands on any of these anti-inflammatory herbs, okay. 3 that I like are 4. Okay. I like turmeric. We can all get our hands on turmeric. Okay. We can all get our hands on turmeric. Okay. Now, would I take a turmeric capsule? No, I wouldn't do that. Again, you can go to the grocery store, mainly an international market, and you can get fresh turmeric root, but they'll have it at the regular these big box store grocery store. They'll have turmeric too. They'll have it at Whole Foods. They'll have it at Sprouts most of the time. International markets all the time. They'll have it. You just got to look for it. Turmeric. If you can't get the fresh, get the dry. Now, in order to use turmeric for it to work, if you make a tea out of it, you just don't want to add water. Okay. You have to add some type of oil or fat to that tea to pull out the constituent, which is oil soluble. Okay. So what would you do? Traditionally, turmeric is an Ayurvedic herb. Okay. Now, Ayurveda means the study of life. All right. And this is an Indian remedy. So we wouldn't really have access here in Americas. We wouldn't really take turmeric, or it wasn't known to Western herbs or Western herbalism. Okay. Or Native American herbalism. You wouldn't really have turmeric, but we have access to turmeric, and turmeric is a powerful anti-inflammatory. It is, but it's the way that you use it. So traditionally it was used. How would you use turmeric? Okay. They would boil it in milk. So instead of water, you would do milk, but I would do the like cow's milk. I would do coconut milk. So you'll take 8 ounces of coconut milk, and you put like a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of turmeric powder. Okay. Put a top on it, and you let that simmer for about 15-20 minutes. Then you drink that tea. Okay. That's when you're going to get the properties out of turmeric. Now, one of my favorite ways and easier ways to take turmeric, again, I wouldn't do a capsule. To hell with the capsule. All right. But if you could do it, if that's all you had at the moment, fuck it. Just do the capsule. Okay. Just do the capsule. All right. But if you didn't have the capsule, you can go get the bulk powder from international market or one of the grocery stores, and you can start using that. Or you can go online and get it bulk as well. And again, I'm going to give you some resources where you can go online and look at some of these herbs. Okay. So I gave you how to do turmeric tea. You need some type of fat. Now, like the brother said, golden milk. Absolutely. Now, and that's the reason why oil was always prepared, or some type of fat was prepared with turmeric, because the constituent within the anti-inflammatory, the main anti-inflammatory constituent in turmeric is oil based. So say you didn't have coconut milk. What's another way to do it? Well, what you do is you get the powder, right? You get some hot water, get a mug, put the powder, like a half teaspoon to a teaspoon in a mug, right? And you pour some hot water in it, and then you put like 1/4 teaspoon of coconut oil. You put that in there too. This is an oil-based tea. Put a top on that. You let that steep for like 10 minutes. You mix that up, and then you drink it. But you're gonna need some type of oil to open the kick open. Oh, okay. the anti-inflammatory property of turmeric. Okay. Or one of my favorite things is to find the fresh root or the dry root or the dry powder and make a tincture out of it. Okay. Make a tincture out of fresh or dry turmeric. And then you can take it, because the alcohol, it can pull out that anti-inflammatory property. The alcohol can. So I will be taking a turmeric tincture daily, which I take a turmeric tincture. I'm gonna show you. I make a turmeric tincture that I take. I put a couple of other herbs, anti-inflammatory herbs as well. Okay, another anti-inflammatory herb that you will have to buy online, but it's a great herb, is white willow bark. And it's a relatively cheap herb too. Okay, white willow bark, highly great anti-inflammatory herb for any type of inflammation, any type of pain. Okay, and this was the precursor to aspirin. They found this in the wild, and they like, oh wow, this take away pain, and then they synthesize it, and this is what you have, your Advil and Tylenol. That's where it came from. Okay, it came from those type of plants, from the willow bark plants. Okay, it's a couple of different type of variations, but willow bark. So getting some willow bark, making a tea or a tincture. I will make a tincture. You can put the turmeric and the white willow bark together in a tincture, and you can take it together like that. Okay, or you can make a tea. But again, if you make a tea, you got to be on top of it. Now, you either do the powder or you do the root. Okay, and you got to boil willow bark. Okay. All right, myrrh or frankincense. Myrrh and frankincense, these are two powerful anti-inflammatories. Okay, two powerful anti-inflammatories. So how would you deal with myrrh? Well, really, the only way to take myrrh really is to make a tincture out of it. You got to make it with high proof alcohol or frankincense. Okay, the resin. So turmeric, white willow, or myrrh or frankincense. Now, I made a tincture like that. I call it an anti-inflammatory. But you can see I have white willow, turmeric root, and frankincense. And I take that daily. I take a vial a couple times a day. And that really helps with the anti-inflammatory. But what did I do? I went and bought some bulk white willow. Okay. This turmeric I got fresh at the grocery store. And the frankincense, it was actually a gift that one of the brothers gave me, which I have some on my own, but that one in particular in this tincture, it was a gift, and I made a tincture out of it. I went and got some Everclear, and I made a tincture, and then I combine all that together, and I take that, and that's a really good anti-inflammatory. And as well as, like the brother said, garlic. Now, garlic will be just your classical blood cleanser, anti-parasitic, antibacterial. Is going to just start to cleanse your body in general. Now, the medicinal dose is 3 cloves of raw garlic. Now, do I have my garlic? Oh, yeah, there we go. See, everywhere I go, I got to have my garlic with me. See that? I just peeled this up the other day. So what is 3 cloves? This is 1 clove. See that? 1 clove. If you can't do 3, just start with 1 daily. Start with 1 clove daily and work your way up to 3 cloves raw garlic. If you got to take a little honey with it to make it palatable, do that. All right. So let's go through what this protocol will look like. Okay. From the time you wake up in the morning, right? Okay. So you wake up in the morning. The first thing you're going to do is 16 ounces of celery juice on an empty stomach. Okay. You're going to start flushing. So, do it. You can start with 8 ounces, but I will start with 16. So 8 to 16 ounces. It is going to make you go to the bathroom, but it will normalize. It's not like crazy unless you're really backed up. Okay. So that's the first thing you're going to do. Okay. If you don't have celery juice, you're going to do your lemon water. 1 to 2 juices of lemon and 32 ounces of water. And you're going to try to finish that. Okay. If you have celery juice, do celery juice and then the lemon water right after. This is going to make sure you're hydrating to start to get the toxins to move out of your system. Okay. And rehydrate the body. So first thing in the morning, celery juice, lemon lemon water. Okay. And then either I would do my garlic as well, or you can do it when you eat. Okay. Then you're gonna choose at least one of these herbs. Burdock. I like burdock. Okay. I mean, I generally out of all these, I would do burdock. Okay. But either you could do burdock, nettle, dandelion, dandelion root. Okay. Or if you had to, yellow dock or echinacea. Okay, but I would really do burdock, dandelion, or nettle leaf. Burdock's really going to be your go-to because you can actually get that at the store. That's the reason why I say burdock's going to be the best. So then after that, you're going to take your burdock tea or your tincture. You're just going to take a burdock dose. Simple, right? Right? And then you're going to do that dose 3 times a day. Right? And then I would do turmeric for your anti-inflammatory. Right? Either I'll make a turmeric tea or a turmeric tincture. So just say you had a turmeric tincture, right? Say you made a turmeric tincture, or let's say you had the tea. It doesn't even matter. So celery juice, lemon water, burdock tea, right? Turmeric tincture or tea right after. Garlic. That's it. That's it. That's all you need. Now, if you wanted to do all the other stuff, you could do that too. What would you do? You're going to do that 3 times a day, each dose. You're going to do that 6 days a week dosing. You're going to stay on top of it too. You're going to actually stay on top of it. And if you miss days, you're going to jump right back on it. Now, you're going to go through some detox crisis. Okay? So let me just warn you. You're going to go through some detox crisis, especially if you're taking that garlic and you're taking herbs to open up your channels of elimination. Okay? You're going to start to go through some detox crisis. You might get a fever. You might run hot or cold. You might have bad nightmares and dreams. You might have fucking more eruptions coming out on your skin. Your bowel movements might be all over the place. You might be pissing like crazy, shitting like crazy, but it's going to pass. You might just start fucking anxiety and depression and just, all type of weird shit going on. Keep going. It's going to pass. Just stay on top of your dose, and then it's going to pass, and then you're going to feel better. Like, oh, wow, I feel good. I feel great. And then you're going to continue to stay on top of your dosing, stay on top of your and then it's going to happen again. And then you keep pushing through your dosing. And then it leaves, and then you feel better. So it's going to be a roller coaster. Okay? You're going to do this 3 months. On point. Come back to me. Or give me a comment, whatever. You say, hey, what's next? Or you can say, everything you said was a lie. It didn't work. Well, that's literally not going to happen. So either I'm going to hear a good report or I'm going to hear no report. No report means that you didn't do it. Okay? So if you want to feel better and you want to start dealing with these things, go ahead and deal with one of those remedies that I gave you and stay on top of your dosing and don't fall off your dosing. Okay? So I'm going to close it there. I pray, that, lesson was edifying. Let me actually, before I end that, because I kind of quoted the scripture, let me read that scripture. Isaiah. Give me a second. Give me a second. Why does my shit look like this? Okay. Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Now, the reason why I brought out this scripture, okay, because the knowledge of these remedies and how to use them and how they can help you in your life will be of the utmost importance in a time that we're coming in. Why? Is because you are not going to be tied to Esau's medical system. Because you'll, of course, I brought the scripture out, right? Healing comes of the Most High. So first and foremost, as Israelites, who do we go to? First and foremost, who do we go to when we need healing, when we're dealing with these issues? First and foremost, we make our petition to Yahweh Shemashai. Okay? Then the Lord will see fit of how he's going to maneuver and steer you into the path of healing. Okay? Now, the scriptures say to go to the physician. Now, you go to Esau, I can't help you. And again, I'm not a physician. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare, Western healthcare practitioner. I'm just a brother that's giving you some information. And if you would take heed to it, I know it's going to work. Okay. I'm 100% confident. Okay. Now, is it going to fix everything overnight? No. Because you got to keep working at it. So that's why I said, do this protocol for that brother. But any other brother that's dealing with anything here, you can take some of these principles, even if it's just one thing, even if it's just the garlic you do. You got to do it daily. Don't the brother, he don't know what he's talking about. Okay. It don't even work. And you're doing it half-ass. So you pick your remedy and you stay on top of your remedy. Okay. In this case, this protocol already lined it out for you. Okay. For that brother and any other brother or sister that's dealing with similar issues, you can follow this routine protocol, and if you need a little bit more explanation, then just hit me, write a comment, and Lord's will, I'll get to it and I'll go in a little bit more deeper in detail. Okay. But it's only so much we can do online like this, right? There's only so much we do. So I'm trying to give general information, and these are general herbs, generally safe herbs. I didn't really give any herb. I didn't give any herb that's toxic and you need low doses or anything. I didn't give any herbs. Very, very safe herbs. Okay. That one could take and actually feel the benefit if they're consistent. Okay. So I gave you that protocol. You stay on top of that. You do that for 3 months diligently. Then you come back. All right. So, hey, and like I said, I brought that scripture out because knowledge of just these basic things can help you out. Okay. Or you through and you got to go to Esau. Esau, you need that chip. So something like this is going to be very important. In this case, we're dealing with skin and inflammation. Okay. But, and of course, the brother, you got to change your diet. You got to get more anti-inflammatory diet. I might do a video on that, might not, who knows. Okay. But Jake, no, you gotta type it up, do some research. Anti-inflammatory foods. Look up some more videos. You gotta do more, you gotta tap deeper into it. I'm giving you a kind of like an outline of, okay, I'm giving you some structure. I'm giving you some structure of what you can do daily to start to actually feel better. Like, oh shit, like damn, okay. All right, I feel better. All right. But in the beginning, it's gonna be tough. Okay. So again, I pray that the lesson is edifying. This time I'm gonna wrap it up. Give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Until next time, shalom to the elect.